Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris Herman here with the one and only Miss Donna Chase.
Hi.
Ms.
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 Ms. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We are here at the Funky Buddha, which is, I guess you could, is this a brew pub, right? I mean, we call this
It's a
brew pub.
brewery.
It's a brewery.
Right.
It's a brewery right here in Oakland Park, Florida. And we thought instead of constantly filming our promotional content at the agency that we would start going on location to local businesses in the area. So this is the first one.
Good choice.
Tom made the choice on the location.
Yes.
So here we are.
Here we are.
How you feel?
I feel great.
What should we start with? What do you want, which one do you want to start with here?
Well, I'm very curious about this like pink kind of colored.
You want to start there?
Yeah.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, we've got, we ordered a what they call a flight. So we got 5 different samplers of different beers that they make, and we have some French fries just in case we feel like a little snack, right?
Yes.
So funny.
This is like a charcuterie board of beer, I just realized.
It is like a charcuterie of beer. Would we call this a beer cooterie or a charbouterie?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's try this one first.
Okay.
What's this called? This is the raspberry, Raz FL.
Raz Florida.
Something
Cheers.
tells me this is going to taste like raspberry.
Yeah.
You think?
It's very refreshing.
Not bad.
I like it.
I do too. I'm going to finish mine.
We got a ways to go. We have a lot of sampling.
Well, I think you'll be surprised how quickly these go down. And the good news is, in case you haven't noticed, there are gigantic vats filled with this stuff,
Yeah.
so we're not going to run out anytime soon.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
On our beer cooterie.
Yeah.
Beer
I like that. That was good. So I told you we would start off, and not everybody, some people that know me know this, but I went to college at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, and believe it or not, I started college in the year of 1989.
They had colleges
They
then?
did,
Wow.
they did. And my first job in college was working at a place called Old Chicago, which was like they prided themselves on having like 120 beers on tap. But the town that I went to school in, Fort Collins, not Fart Collins, Fort Collins, at that time was just one of the initial towns that was starting to do a lot of microbrew beers. So I was able to be introduced to microbrewed beers at an early age. Actually worked one day at a brewery putting labels on bottles, if you can believe that. So this is a little bit of like
Yeah.
it's like a strange cycle of life kind of deal.
Well, that's funny because when I was maybe 19, I worked at a place called Hops.
Ah, okay.
And they had like a whole room with like 3 I don't remember as detailed as much as you do, but like 3 giant, I don't know what to call them.
Where they
was
brew
like-
like vats or whatever, where they make the beer,
but it was
right?
like all in glass enclosure, and it was in the center of the restaurant. So when you were like being seated to your table, you kind of like walked the guests through and kind of told them a story and walked them around the thing.
Nice.
And here we are.
You know, and I forgot, my last job in Colorado before I came to Florida was at a place in Boulder, Colorado called the Walnut Street Brewery. And that was an actual brew pub. It was a restaurant, and then we made beer right there. So there. We've covered our
Full
historic
circle.
full circle. You gonna finish that over there? Okay, so this is definitely like more of a summery kind of fun beer.
I really like this one.
I do too. I think some people would say like it's like a ladies' beer, but I totally disagree. I think it's really nice.
And the fruit is just kind of like a hint. It's
Just
not very overpowering.
Right. Just
Very nice.
All right. Let's try one more, and then maybe that'll give us the courage to move into a topic. All right.
You pick this time.
All right. We're gonna kind of go light to dark. So let's just go with this. This looks just like. This just looks
This
like
is
beer,
called
but
the triple.
the triple, which I believe is a Belgian
Cheers.
something. Yes.
Very hoppy.
That's a little bit. That's got a little bit more hoppy. I get a little maltiness as well too, though. All right, I think you're gonna say you like the first one better.
Yes.
All right, that's the way it goes, right? So when as we've been trying to plan this conversation and this video for a long period of time, we really didn't know what the hell we were gonna do, right?
Right.
Which, it would be safe to say that there's plenty of times that we're going into some sort of creative endeavor and we have no idea what we're gonna
Yes.
do, right?
Yes.
I think sometimes clients might be a little bit shocked to hear that, like that we don't have it all figured out, up front, scripted, storyboarded, and ready to go.
Yeah.
Because that's
It's a
kind of what you're
it's-
supposed to do, right?
It's a process. And sometimes it takes a minute for it to click.
Right.
But that's kind of one of the fun parts for me anyway. Like you're kind of stressed out, like kind of know what you want to do, but you haven't really like put it all together in your brain yet, and then all of a sudden it's like, I got it.
Right.
This is gonna be good.
I'm with you on that. So, as I've been doing this for a long time, at the beginning, yes, you're very regimented. You approach the creative process, right? Because it's like you got to follow step A, B, C, D, E, and F, and to get there, so you got to stay on it. But when you've gotten to a point where you've done it so much, right? Then you get a different sense of confidence about like, okay, I think we got a general idea,
Right.
and when we get there, we're just gonna go.
Yes.
Which we've done a lot of times at dealerships, had a general concept of what we wanted to do, but it's only when you get in like the moment, right?
It clicks.
It clicks. So that's
We're
how we
clicking.
approach this one. We're kind of winging it, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. But we did say that we thought that one of the reasons that we chose this place, and we thought a kind of a cool tie-in to what we do at the Herman Agency, is that this is a craft brewery, right? They make, even though the train, is that the train? There's a train right outside, it's so cool. Even though it's a large brewery and they make a lot of beer, this would still probably be considered, I would guess, I don't know if I would call it a microbrewery, but it's certainly like a craft beer where they're making, compared to large breweries that crank out tons of product, this is more of a small, customized
Right.
product, right? And that's sort of how we approach it. We're not a gigantic agency. We're not a shop that just like cranks out 10,000 things every month, boom, 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 with no thought. It's like everything that we do is it's not kind of is a word that's overused a lot of times, but it's definitely more tailored specifically to
Yes.
our clients, right?
Yes. I think in this industry and the way the manufacturers kind of force feed events on us,
Right.
it can get very repetitive and redundant. And I think a lot of agencies just kind of like cut and paste of like what they did the year before. But I think we actually take the time to say like, no, I know I could take the easy way out and do that
Right.
because we've already done it 100 times. But how can we do that differently? And how can we not only do it differently, but make it crafted more uniquely
Right.
towards this client and like what they're all about at their dealership?
See, and that's, obviously I agree with that approach. That's how we do it. I feel that it's of all the potential ways to walk through the place, right? Just right through. But I think that, what I like about what we do and what I like about us doing this kind of stuff is that ultimately we know what we want to communicate, or we know what the client wants or needs to communicate, but we definitely give ourselves and our clients that flexibility to do it in a style or a tone that works for
Right.
them, right?
Yes.
We're here talking about our agency and how we do creative this isn't our business, right? But it's like, why not talk about it somewhere else to make it a
Right.
little bit more interesting for whoever's watching this? Same for our clients.
And I think it's important to note how, like you were saying, this is a brewery. We don't have anything to do with beer in our
Nope.
agency,
No, not a
but
lot of-
we took the time to figure out a way to combine the two messages and make it unique to where it does apply to us.
Right.
And that's, again, something that we like to try to do for our clients all the time, because even though maybe there's a Kia dealer in Michigan and a Kia dealer in Florida, like yes, they're both selling Kias, but what's unique about them?
Right.
Why does a customer want to go to that dealership over another? So it's important to try to find that information from each dealership and then make it work.
I totally agree. You know, we've talked a number of times about like TikTok and other social media platforms and how some of the best and most interesting creative is completely random, right? Like it's the random offbeat stuff, you know, and again, we've talked about this, it doesn't have to be produced with all this killer gear. It seriously can just be some person with their phone.
Yeah.
But it's authentic, right?
Correct.
That's the thing, it's really authentic to them, and it might be a little bit offbeat or quirky, but that's what gets people engaged with it, right? And I think we've done a good job of that with our clients. I think that we can do a lot better moving forward, particularly as we, excuse me.
A beer.
Pardon, yes, beer. But seriously, particularly as we start doing more stuff like we've got one client that we're going to be doing a lot more social stuff for, more specific, right? And as we move into that environment, I feel like we can really start to get a little bit looser and do stuff that's just not only meaningful, but kooky and interesting and odd, right?
Right.
It's better.
Advertising is just changing, you know. People don't want to feel like they're being sold to all the time. And so many more people are on social media rather than watching TV and seeing a traditional type of TV spot. And the most important thing is learning how to speak the language of the platform. So we're not going to have the same type of TV spot that might be running on Channel 7 during the news that we would on social media. You know, it has to feel authentic and organic and more unique. So I think it's an evolution, you know, like obviously we can't change everything overnight, and you know, it's a process, but I think a lot of our clients now are receptive to that and kind of letting us show them like, let's try to do it a little more this way and see what happens. And I think we're going to get great results from it.
I agree. You know, it might sound odd, but we're doing it, right? There's no reason why any automotive dealer, if we were to go and film, why do we only have to film at the dealership, right?
Right.
How many times have we had really great times with the dealers at a meal, right? Why can't that be a basis, just like what we're doing here, sit down and create content that's conversational, right? Or that's funny or whatever, but in a different environment, because everybody's so used to, it's like, okay, there's the dealership, there's the cars, there's maybe the spokesperson or the dealer.
Right.
I mean, it has just been the same way. And we've been doing, I mean, listen, we're guilty of that as well too. But as we continue to break out, I always hope that we're setting an example for our clients as well too, to say, you know, we got this really cool place here. Why don't we go do something there? You know?
I mean, I think in the defense of traditional media, we know that it has a history of working.
Right.
It works. We know it works. We know that we can do that same type of spot and it works. It's going to get the message out there. It's going to remind potential customers, you know, who their local dealer is and where to go when they want that new brand car, right?
Right.
So moving into more of the social realm, it's not necessarily the place where automotive has been advertised in that unique kind of way. So it's kind of like, you know, being the pioneer and experimenting a little bit and trying it and seeing if it's going to work. And I think they're going to find more and more that they are getting more response from that unique, organic type of social than they would the traditional TV spot.
I agree. So long as the creative and the message and the way it's produced doesn't kind of like give you a bad feeling,
it
right?
has to flow. It
has to flow. And it almost, I feel like we almost have to like sneak into these environments, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you're scrolling through, whether it's Instagram or Reels or TikTok or whatever, and you see all this organic, natural, by people content, then you see the company content. I mean, immediately, it's so obvious that it's a company. Like, you just look at the little name and you're like, of course it's Apple, of course, right? Of course it's an ad. And I'm past it quicker, right? I almost wonder if for like our dealers, we've got to do stuff where, I mean, it is so different and so not automotive, and you have no idea that it's even it's almost like we got to sneak in a little bit to the
Yes.
conversation and be like we're
Seriously,
here
that-
and you didn't know it.
That's exactly how to do it. And it happens to me all the time. I follow a lot of influencers who, have clothes and like home goods decor kind of stuff. And I know who those influencers are that I follow.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally, I'm going through my stories or whatever, and it's like somebody I've never seen before, but they're doing the same type of walk around or like outfit try on, and I don't even notice. I only notice that like, oh, which person is this? And then I look up at the top, and that's when I realize like, oh. But if I'm just like going, I don't even notice.
Yeah, the ones that do the better job of seeming just like somebody in their bedroom just filming
Yeah.
content, those are the ones that I don't blow past.
Right.
Let's take a time out, huh?
Okay.
All right, let's take a time out. We've tried two. Without a doubt, you like the first one more.
Correct.
All right, so let's move on to another one. Why don't you pick the
My
third one that
choice?
we're going to try, okay?
I
You
think
want a French
we go,
fry?
No, thank
No.
you. I think we go with this one,
All right,
El Camino.
El Camino. Oh, appropriate for the automotive
yeah.
business, right?
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Is that lemon?
That's probably more of like an IPA. That's a lot hoppier than the previous one.
Still liking that one, the first one.
Still liking number one.
That one's, to me, that one's very strong.
Yeah, that has I think they would say that's very hop forward. I don't know if that's the correct. It's definitely hoppy. That's more, I don't know if that's an IPA. India Pale Ale, which tends to be more hoppy, but that definitely has a lot. I think these are going to be more malty, meaning they'll have a little bit more of a sweeter quality. But
Do
I'm
you
enjoying
prefer
trying them.
something like this more over something like the first one?
Okay, so from a beer perspective, I like a few things. I like some like on the what you would call the boring side. I like some kind of like German style lager beers. I like wheat beers a lot. I like some IPAs, and I like the darker stuff all the way to Guinness. I would say I really like Guinness.
My dad used to drink a lot.
Right. It's the Irish. Okay. So still liking the first one the best.
Yes.
I really like the first one. I've liked them all so far. And
You like the first one the best? Also?
I don't know if I liked it the best, but I really, I enjoy it. Maybe I did. I might say that I think I liked it the best as well too.
Okay. We still have 2 to go.
But I'm not super sophisticated beer guy. It's like that was like light and refreshing, right?
Yeah.
These are taking a little bit more
Yes.
complexity.
Yes.
We should stop maybe now and just say thank you to the Funky Buddha for allowing us to be here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you everybody. We really appreciate you having us here, allowing us to do this here. It does mean a lot to us, and if there's anything that we can do to be helpful to you guys, of course, we will. So again, thank you to the Funky Buddha and the whole team here for allowing us to come spend some time and film some content. Okay, moving on, shall we?
Shall.
Let's talk, in previous CLCs that
Cool
didn't,
little clips.
that didn't make it, right? Because really, this is, if we screw this one up, we'll be 3 up and 3 down. But I think we're going to be all right, Tom? Yeah. So in previous episodes that did not make final cut.
What do they say? It's on the editor's floor?
Yeah, it's on the cutting room floor.
Cutting room
right?
floor,
Yeah.
yes.
I think that's what it is, on the cutting room floor. Tom's nodding, that's correct. So on the cutting room floor. But we did talk a lot more about social and how we felt it would be, good for the dealers and that it's underutilized.
Correct.
I can say in recent conversations that I've had with a lot of clients, that is across the board, everybody's sentiments, I mean, after however many years, 10 years, whatever, 15 years, 12 years of Facebook and everything else, a lot of our clients still really don't understand, how powerful it is. And obviously, we've been doing a lot of it now, and I feel like, we're getting traction with it. And so let's jump back into that a little bit, from the perspective of how important it is for marketers and advertisers to understand that the content, particularly video content they create, I mean, if you're not thinking about social first, you're really not thinking right, right?
I mean, I don't blame them about being a bit hesitant.
Right.
It is kind of new, and I think the other challenge is it's always changing. So, you know, it's like you learn a specific aspect about something, and then they discover, oh, there's a new algorithm, and if we do it this way, it actually works better. So then it's like you have to relearn it, and that can be intimidating. You know, that can be intimidating for the average person trying to promote their business and making them feel effective in the way that they're doing it.
Right? I mean, think about it. So many clients, so many advertisers over the years, you know, they had a couple avenues that they were able to figure out and use. And then along comes social media, and then and you have Facebook, and you have Twitter, and you have Instagram, and you have Snapchat, and you got TikTok, and you got LinkedIn, right? And are they all the same? No. Not only are they all different in terms of who they cater to,
right?
Every one of them has a different size, a different thing, you know? And so I think a lot of people, and I think a lot of our clients, you know, don't even understand how complex it is in terms of, all right, we're creating content. Now how do we repurpose this content for all these different platforms, right? It's totally intimidating. So of course, everybody sort of defaults to the basic static ad, car, you know, inventory, because that's easy and that's what they understand. And to some degree it works. But where we are going to assist our clients moving forward, and I think where we're really going to excel, is by being able to say, okay, yeah, this shit is kind of, it's all over the place. But here's how we do it, right? We got the roadmap, and here's how we can help you do it.
Even if you take Instagram, for example, it has so many different facets to itself, let alone the differences from Instagram to LinkedIn. You know, like on Instagram, a post is totally different than a story and totally different from a reel.
Right.
And if you want to be successful in a post or a story or a reel, like there's different ways that you need to do that. And you could post this conversation between you and I, but we have to post it differently as a post versus a story versus a reel for it to be effective and to really utilize the like marketing power that's behind that platform.
Right.
It's a lot of work.
I mean, it's safe to say we love it, and this is what we do. And even for us, it's a little bit like, oh my God, shit can be a little bit annoying sometimes because there's so much to it, right? So then this is what we do. Now imagine, you know, a dealership, general manager, whoever, an owner, they're focused on running their business, they're focused on taking care of their customers and doing that. They don't have time to be thinking about, what, should this be a story? Should this be a reel? Should we put our commercial as an IGTV?
Right.
And what about TikTok, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
If somebody has a full-time job, it cannot be something that they do casually. Like, you need to dedicate a serious amount of time to it, not just to the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Because what happens is you're busy doing your job. You know, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And then the next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock and you're like, oh, I forgot I wanted to post something today. Okay, so now we've established, you know, we need to post something. What am I going to post? In what format am I going to post it in? And why does this help the person who's scrolling through their feed and come across my stuff? How is that going to help them? It's a lot to come up with on the spot.
It's a ton. If we didn't have, and because you created the content calendar, right? So we have a schedule, we've got a calendar, and we meet and we execute week in, week out, right? Are we perfect? No, but we're pretty on it. If we didn't have that, I would oftentimes wake up on a day, and I mean, I typically like to post around 1 o'clock. If we had no game plan and it was like, okay, it was 1 o'clock, first of all, I wouldn't know what I was doing, so then I would procrastinate it and I wouldn't post at the right time. And even if I did, I wouldn't know what to post. So it's taken us months to establish a routine and a rhythm of, here's what we do, here's how we communicate it, and here's how we post. If we didn't have that, we would not be doing it.
Right.
Because we've tried it before, and if you just do you know what, we need to start posting more, right? We're gonna let's start kicking ass on social media. You say that, and you have a week where you're just fucking killing it, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's gone.
Right. Because it has to be thoughtful, and there needs to be a strategy behind it. You know, like when you're using social media as a marketing platform, you got to have a game plan. Like that's the whole point of like strategy and marketing. Like you got to have the plan, and it's very difficult to come up with a brand new plan on the spot every single day.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be communicated to the viewer or the potential customer if you are more organized in the way that you give the content out on your feed. You know, it tells more of a story instead of just sporadic random posts because you forgot and now it's 1 o'clock and you got to come up with something.
So you're
and
just
you're
slamming
like,
some
here's
shit
my
out.
dog. I don't know. I think he's cute. Maybe you do too.
Right.
You know, but more of an organized approach and delivering that message that typically on a television TV spot in 30 seconds, we tell the dealership name and why you should go there and the lease. We have to tell it in more of an organized fashion throughout a series of posts.
Yep. And it's super, if you don't have it, if you're not dialed in, if you don't have the plan and it's not laid out,
forget it.
It's not getting done. It's essentially it's a marketing plan. That's all it is. It's just marketing plan specific to social. It's no different than what we do when we put together a handcrafted
correct
marketing strategy for a dealership on our budget that is inclusive of everything from digital, third party, direct mail, not a lot of traditional these days, but I mean, that's what we do. It's just dialing it down into the social world, which we have to do. We're doing it. And our clients, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. And as we move through this inventory situation for the next year and a half, whatever it's gonna be, budgets are dialed back, rightly so, but they still need to be effective. And nobody's sitting around right now being like, let me scroll through just Google search, right? Unless they're looking for something specific.
Right.
But their entertainment is coming largely in social at this point in time, and that's where we can be in front of them in the right way. And the whole calendar thing, like don't think for a second that some 14-year-old kid who's cranking out amazing shit in their bedroom, they're not winging it. Like the ones who have gained your attention, they're like, okay, this is what I do, and I have a schedule, this is how I create it, I know when I need to put it out, I know when it's gonna get the most views. These kids have got it figured out, we've got it figured out, but we need to continue to help our clients figure it out.
And again, those kids don't have full-time jobs. They're not running dealerships, they have the time to sit there, and plus they're very into it, So they have the time and they're very interested in it to dedicate to crafting these videos or whatever, as opposed to a general manager at a dealership who, that's not his day job, his or her day job is running the dealership, not thinking about what to post on social media today. Yeah.
And we're in a unique position because while some of the stuff that's really good on social is just that quick, handheld, do-it-yourself on your phone, which is 100% effective, we're in the position, because we have a whole crew, many of who are here right now, running really high-quality gear, we can cover the full spectrum, right? We can help guide our clients do some of the DIY, do-it-yourself stuff. We can do some of the do-it-yourself stuff, but then when it comes to really, good-looking stuff like what we're doing right now, we can also do that as well too. So to be able to, it's got to be a mix, right? Like we do our stories that are just kind of BS one-offs that we do, then we do our full-on production stuff. It's that combination, all together that gives us, a real advantage. And we've made a lot of investments in that. That's where we've put our money, right?
Right.
And I think that's going to pay off for us for many years to come.
I think so, for sure.
You want to try another one?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel it? Do you feel it a little bit?
Of course.
I do too. Just like I've had two, and this one. That's not even one beer, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I feel this beer a little bit. Well, let's go in sequence then. Let's go to the next.
What's in sequence?
It's too bad that you're not. It's too bad that you're not eating fries. We're gonna go to this one.
Okay. What's this?
And we're getting a little bit of this. You know what this means?
Another
wrap it up.
Round? Oh.
Wrap it up,
I
baby.
thought it was another round.
So we're gonna try this one.
Called? Mars?
Marzen.
Cheers.
I think that's probably German.
Is that chocolate?
It's got a little bit more of like a nutty, malty kind of flavor. Okay.
This might be my number 2.
That's number 2. All right. Put it back in the hole, Donna.
Well, this is where I'm drinking.
Oh.
You know? Did you just OCD my process?
I totally did. I'm like, oh my God. She didn't put it back in the hole.
This is my drinking glass
Okay.
station.
All right, let's try the last one now.
Okay.
We're going to move right on to the last
Now-
one.
now
Because I
now
feel
I
like
gotta
we
put it
have
back.
communicated the bulk of what we had hoped to accomplish today, right?
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say?
We'll save it for next time.
Okay, I think that's a good thought as well too. So let's try this one, then we'll wrap it up and we'll,
This is Last Snow.
ooh, smells like,
Cheers. Smells like bad decisions. Coffee?
what is that? It's like coffee and holidays all in one.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like that's like the holidays, dessert and coffee all together in one.
It's a very coffee-like.
Okay, I like it. I enjoyed them all.
What's your final vote? Like in order.
Oh boy. All right, in order it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I'm going Raz. I think I like the Raz the best
Yeah.
today. I think I liked Triple number 2. I think I like Last Snow number 3, Martin number 4, El Camino number 5. How about you?
I'm going Raz number 1,
Okay.
Mars number 2, Last Snow number 3, 4, and 5.
You know, the hardcores here at the Funky Buddha are probably going to be like, these two, they picked the
Rookies.
they like the raspberry beer the best. What a bunch of
Wimps,
rookies. What a
yeah.
bunch of wimps.
It was very refreshing. Maybe because it's the time of day that we're here. And,
Yeah.
You know, it's like a refreshing time.
I agree. All right, well, Donna, thank you very much for joining me here at
Thank
the
you for
old
having me.
Funky Buddha. As we talked, what did we talk about today? We talked about custom handcrafted
yeah.
creative messaging and marketing plans. We talked about social media,
Mm-hmm.
and we did it while having some great beer here at the Funky Buddha. You didn't have any fries, so I know you wait till after we're off again. All right, well, thank you, everybody. And again, thank you to the Funky Buddha right here in Oakland Park, Florida. If you live in Florida, definitely come check this place out. It's really great. We'll probably hang out for a while. So thank you so much, and
Bye, everyone.
see ya. Bye-bye.